South Dakota voters overwhelmingly approved Amendment B, authorizing the legislature to legalize sports betting in Deadwood. But now lawmakers need to act to make that a reality. Good evening. I'm Kelsey Passel.
Glad to have you with us at 6 o'clock. I'm Brian Allen. Senate Bill 44 would lay the legal framework for gambling. Austin Goss was there today when lawmakers held their very first hearing on it. He joins us live now from the state capitol in Pierre. Austin, good evening.
Good evening, Brian and Kelsey. Last year, after voters overwhelmingly approved legal sports gambling in South Dakota, the South Dakota State Legislature got to work making sure that it was implemented. The Senate State Affairs Committee began the legislature's first discussions about how to implement legal sports gambling in South Dakota.
2019 session, there was a Senate joint resolution that dealt with this topic. That did not pass the legislature that year, but then in 2020, a very similar provision, was Senate Joint Resolution 501, came before this body and was passed through the legislature.
After that long road to legalization, a bill finally sits before the legislature. The bill legalizes sports gambling in Deadwood city limits and on Native American reservations. While people would be allowed to gamble on college athletic events, they could not gamble on South Dakota colleges and universities or high school athletics. The Department of Revenue and Deadwood Gaming Association worked together to craft the bill.
Their office worked very closely with my clients, if you will, out in Deadwood to come up with a bill that will enact what the voters approved in November insofar as gaming in Deadwood.
Advocates say that this bill is a first step for what comes next with sports gambling in South Dakota.
Get a constitutional amendment put on the ballot, and then that amendment had to pass. And now we're here to set a bit of a framework and statute that will then be further refined in the rules. And so there are a lot of steps.
Now, that bill was not voted on today by the committee. The committee will have to see a prison and jail impact statement before they can officially vote on it. However, when it does come back up before the committee for a vote, it's very likely that it will pass. In Pierre, Austin Goss, Dakota News Now.
Austin, thank you. Dakota News Now is your source for State House 2021 coverage. Austin will have live reports each day during the session, and make sure you follow him on Twitter at AustinGossSD.